When I was younger, I only really played 3 games: Halo, FIFA, and mainly Pokemon. I owned a 3DS and an Xbox 360, so these were all that were available to me. I was only young, so I wasn't concerned with a hidden gem which only 4 people have ever played. I cared more for the games that everyone has played, so we could talk about them. Most of these were AAA games, but one that I haven't mentioned yet, one that took the internet by storm, is a little known game called Minecraft. In the Christmas of 2013, I received my Xbox 360 and a copy of Minecraft. I played it religiously for years until I got a PS4 in 2017, and I played Minecraft on that too until I started playing Fortnite. But going back to the block game, it became one of my all-time favourites, and it gave me my first experience into the beauty of indie games.
Well, technically, since Microsoft bought Minecraft in 2014, you mainly played it when it was no longer indie.
I'm sure you all remember the golden age of Minecraft YouTubers. Big names such as DanTDM, Stampy, and many more. I watched them all. I knew all the lyrics to TNT, and I watched all the challenge games. But as Minecraft's popularity declined heavily since 2016, many YouTubers had fallen off and still struggle for views now. But one that stood above all of them for me was DanTDM. Even through the dark ages, his Roblox, FNAF, and a variety of random games allowed him to stay relevant, even doing better than his Minecraft videos. The theme between all of them? They're all arguably indie games. Other games include Pokemon Go, and most importantly for me, a terrifying psychological horror known as Subnautica. Released officially in January of 2018, I believe the definition of thalassophobia is a near perfect game for the genre. Although, notice how I said it was released officially in 2018. You see, it was released for early access in the winter of 2014. Now skip a few months until April, and this was my first experience with Unknown World's masterpiece. On the 2nd of April 2015, Jacksepticeye would release his first Subnautica video. It took 2 days for it to reach 1 million views, and encouraged him to make it a series. The game was very buggy, and you couldn't even enter the Aurora yet, but it had charm. The environments were beautiful, and the lore honestly would make a great novel. Unfortunately, the sequel Below Zero wasn't as great, due to the story being scrapped and remade several times, so there are a few loose ends like Maida's story, which was sad considering the Degassi was one of the most interesting parts of the first game. The Irish YouTuber created over 70 videos of both Subnautica games, and solidified the ocean survival game as a fan favourite, although later in the year, a new game was determined to take over YouTube. It doesn't matter where you looked. In late 2015, everyone was playing Undertale. A game made on Game Maker was played by hundreds of YouTubers, made millions off of Steam alone, and almost won Best RPG of the Year. Let me reiterate, it was made on Game Maker. I used that in school. I think Undertale exposed many people to the quality of indie games, which are frequently overlooked because despite the pixelated graphics, its characters, story, lore, environments, etc. are better than most AAA games. The enigmatic Sans with his witty humour alone attracted millions of views, and his boss fight is compared to From Software bosses in terms of difficulty. But on the opposite side of the spectrum, Undertale's pacifist route is the highlight of the game. If you don't know, when you play Undertale, you get 2 choices, to kill or show mercy. Other games had this system, but Undertale was the first game where it really mattered. A prime example is the neutral route. Sans will give you a phone call, and depending on who you kill, the skeleton will respond differently. This led to many people choosing to turn only Papyrus or only Toriel to dust. But back to the pacifist route, the breathtaking final boss, Azrael, is an experience. The reveal of Flowey being the goat boy, to saving your friends from the broken monster, to the barrier being broken without Asgore dying, is a perfect conclusion to a perfect game. I could honestly create a whole video around why Undertale is a perfect game, but I'm not the first, and I definitely wouldn't be the last. As I said before, I genuinely believe Undertale opened many people's eyes to the beauty of indie games, and this was only reinforced in the years to come. Only 2 years later, 2 of the best indie games were ever made. I played and platinumed both Cuphead and Hollow Knight in the first few months of this year, and I think it was the unique art styles and the difficulty which attracted me to them originally, especially Cuphead. Eventually it found itself in my 10 favourite games, and it has my favourite DLC of all time. For anyone who has never seen Cuphead, it's a boss rush platformer combined with run and gun levels. I don't know how, but Studio MDHR somehow created 19 fair bosses in the base game, and also a shameful 26 minutes of gameplay. Going back to the first half of 2017, Hollow Knight was released in February, one of the best Metroidvanias to grace the gaming community, offered great difficulty, beautiful environments and music like Undertale, and bosses almost as good as Cuphead. When I describe it to you, it sounds like a From Software nerd's wet dream, but unfortunately for them, it's it's also a platformer. We won't talk about how much you struggled for the Frenzied Flame. The game also provided one of the hardest challenges for gamers, a 50-minute boss rush. I won't lie, I cheated to beat it. I died on Nightmare Grim 6 times and it broke me. But other than that, I love the game and it's just shy of my top 10. Another indie game I'll talk about briefly is Hades. I first played it recently and I can't stop. I love the Greek myth theme and it executes it better than a certain AAA game set in ancient Greece. Anyway, all the characters are really memorable and so much love is put into the game. Even the most minor things, like the fact that you can talk to Baldy and the little Star of the Week board, is just so unnecessary that it just makes me love the game even more. Since it's my latest addiction, I could deride it for so long and I'm excited for Hades too. So now you know the beauty of indie games. Before you leave, what's your favourite indie game? Is it one I've mentioned, or is it one I haven't talked about yet like Celeste or Stardew Valley? Tell me in the comments, but I think it's important to mention that many indie games have only grown so big due to the influence of YouTubers. Think about Among Us and Hello Neighbor. So you have to ask yourself, what would happen to games like Subnautica if it wasn't for YouTubers like 8-Bit Ryan and Jacksepticeye? And what of the sequels of these games? Will they lose their charm? Will they be given the Ubisoft Clubs reward to make the game a breeze? I guess we'll have to watch and wait forever as Silk Song will be delayed again.